So the way that we typically will avoid pain is in the following four ways. So the first way is to suppress the pain. Now, suppressing of the pain is going to lead to things like this chronic pain, right? That's just literally acting like you don't feel it at all, pretending it's not there, not facing it, not dealing with it, just avoiding it. So suppressing the pain is obviously probably the most common thing that we might think of when we think about how we don't feel emotions. So we put the emotion away, we pretend it's not there, we avoid it, we resist it. Now, when we do that, when we resist emotions, they persist. Because again, if you remember in previous episodes, emotions are attempting to signal something. Once they've signaled what they need to signal, they no longer need to have a purpose. They don't need to be there anymore. So if we don't receive the signal that the emotion is trying to give us, it'll keep going. And emotions are timeless, meaning that even if something happened 30 years ago that you didn't allow yourself to feel, what's going to end up happening is it's going to keep coming back over and over and over again, no matter how much time has passed, because the emotions have no frame of reference when it comes to time. If they could talk, all they know is that they're trying to tell you something and you haven't received it. And so they'll keep coming back. So when we resist it, the emotions will keep coming back. And if we resist it enough, then it might come up as pain. It might come up as disease. It might come up as some kind of a chronic condition or recurring dreams or nightmares. So facing our emotions are really, really important, and not resisting them so that they don't continuously come up and cause all these other problems in our life. The second way that we avoid feeling emotions, or we avoid feeling our feelings, is to identify with them. Now, this one is really tricky in a sense, because identifying with the emotion feels or seems like you're actually feeling the emotion, but it's not. When we identify with the emotion, it's as simple as saying things like, I am angry, I am depressed, I am anxious. Anything that follows the words I am is identifying with it. It's linking it to the identity. So the words I am are really, really important. And if you've been familiar with other spiritual teachings, other personal development teachings, you've probably heard this before, of this idea of anything you say after the words I am is an extremely powerful association and anchor to your actual identity. So you want to be very careful about what you say after you say I am. Because what you're doing is you're taking the ego symbol that we talked about before, and you're now placing a definition. You're now putting it in a container, and you're saying, this symbol is this. My experience is this. So that is a very, very important thing to keep in mind, that when you are trying to feel your emotions, you don't go to I am sad, I am angry, I am scared, I am anxious, I am depressed, any of that. If you follow I am with whatever the feeling is, what we're going to end up doing is we're going to create a limited identity in that moment. And we can all handle feelings. What we cannot handle is a severely limited identity by a single emotion or a handful of emotions that are unpleasant. That is what will get us trapped. So if we identify with our emotions, if we think that we are the emotions, it's just as bad as thinking that we are the ego. And basically what we're doing is we're just put it with the actual emotion or feeling itself. We're just putting a mask or, clothing on the ego and saying, now you're this. Now the symbol is this. Now the symbol is anger. Now the symbol is sadness. So we want to be very careful not to identify with our emotions, because that's actually not feeling the emotions. It's actually not being present to the emotions. It's just putting them in the symbol of the actual ego. The third thing that we do to avoid actual feelings of emotions is we indulge in the emotions. So again, this one can be tricky because it feels like, no, I am feeling this emotion. That's why I'm indulging in it. So indulging could look like this. Indulging could be you're sad about, let's say, your significant other or about your romantic life, and you start going and listening to emotional music, like love songs and breakup songs. That would be a form of indulging. Indulging could also be like you're feeling very angry, so you're going to go on Twitter and you're just going to, sit there for 2 hours arguing with people online and just indulging in that feeling, indulging in the anger and the righteousness and everything based on the beliefs that you have. That's not actually allowing yourself to feel it. What that's doing is that's just magnifying the emotion. That's just making it bigger and perpetuating the emotion more and more and more without actually being present and feeling it. And then the fourth way that we avoid feeling our feelings is when we wear our feelings. which is very similar to indulging in our feelings. When we wear our feelings, this is the external expression of emotion. It's like you're sad and you need everybody to know it, or you're upset and you need everybody to know it. So you wear it on your sleeve. You put it out there into the world. You act in ways that are, let's say, angry, or you act in ways that are scared or nervous, or you act in ways that are sad, and you attempt to draw attention to yourself. You attempt to perform with your emotions, right? And when you're performing your emotions, you're wearing your emotions, you're still not actually feeling them. So these are the 4 ways that we actually avoid feeling emotion: is we resist them, we identify with them, we indulge in them, and we wear them. And all of those ways are going to prevent us from actually feeling the emotion, and could be the reason why maybe we have chronic pain. It could be the reason why we have recurring thoughts that never seem to shut up, or recurring dreams or nightmares that seem to keep going. So what we want to do instead is actually get present and feel the emotion. And it's really, really simple. It's so simple that it actually seems like it wouldn't work. However, every single time I've done this, it's allowed me to actually alleviate the emotion by feeling it, by understanding it. And it starts with simply saying to yourself out loud or in your head, I feel, and then the emotion. So it could be, I feel sad. I feel angry. I feel depressed. It's okay to feel these things. What's not okay, or what we cannot handle, is being these things. We don't want to be our feelings. We don't want to indulge in them. We don't want to resist them. We don't want to wear them. That's not actually feeling them. But sitting there and feeling it, and attempting to bring your awareness deeper and deeper into the feeling, and becoming very present to the feeling, will actually allow it to dissipate much of the time. And whenever I'm doing this with clients or with myself, when I'm feeling these things, sometimes what you feel is not just one thing. And that's why identifying with the emotion can be so dangerous, is because when you identify, you actually fail to feel all the other emotions. Most of the time, you're not feeling one feeling. Most of the time, you're feeling a multitude of things. Sometimes it's like 30 or 40 emotions or different feelings that you have all in one moment. And by saying, I am angry, now you're missing scared, you're missing sad, you're missing hurt, you're missing anxious, you're missing all the other feelings that are existing in that moment. And in a way, dissociating from them. So the practice is very simple. To practice that awareness, when you have an emotion come up, you can simply stop and sit there and say, I feel whatever the feeling is, right? It could be like, I feel angry, I feel sad, I feel scared, I feel kind of excited, I feel happy, and I feel depressed, I feel anxious. And you can go through this cycle and allow yourself to just flow through those emotions rather than letting them stick to you. Remember, it's okay to feel these things, even if they're negative. If you just feel them, they're going to go away. They're going to dissipate. But if you hold on to them, if you try to wear them, if you try to identify with them, they will stay around until you've felt them and learned whatever you needed to learn from them, until you've gotten the signal. Emotions will stick around so long as they have so long as their signal or their message hasn't been received. If we don't receive the message, it'll keep coming back. What you can remember with this is that what you resist persists. And all of these forms of not feeling emotions are forms of resistance. And if we continue to resist the emotion, they'll keep coming back. And sometimes the first step, or the easiest thing that you can do, is just stop and say, I feel. I feel, I feel, I feel. You can feel, but you don't have to be the emotion.